Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Speed Force Racing, round 15. We're coming from Malaysia. My name is Adam, Nightwalker 2014. I'm joined by John 94 Rhinos. We'll be calling him by his first name, John. How are you doing, John?
I'm good, thank you.
Brilliant. So, from practice, we got quite an interesting perspective into some drivers probably thinking, because I think you've pointed out that maybe a couple of drivers probably sandbagging as well.
Yeah, it did look like that. Especially, I know a few of the drivers like Ramovaj he was quite far down, but they're going to be right up there tonight. I know that.
We've got about 5 minutes before the session starts. Usual short quali, 50% race, dynamic weather, starting at official time. We'll go through, do a little bit of homework. So, Drivers' Championship at the moment, we've got Techno Thriller. He's kind of like the runaway leader at the moment. He's got 196 points, and then Humbug is on 160. Lee now 138. Ramovaj returning for the rest of the season. He's on 125 points because he got 5 wins, 5 poles in the season. Fletcher Boy is... Chopper is on 91 points. Fletcher Boy is 90, so it's quite close. But even closer is the Constructors' Championship at the moment. 231 points for Haas. Great showing so far. Williams and Toro Rosso both on 218 points. Sauber 169, and a massive 50-point difference between them and McLaren. So I'd say Williams, Toro Rosso and Haas are fighting out for the Constructors. Maybe Humbug, Lean Now and Techno for the Drivers' Championship. So, track is a tricky track, especially Sector 3 and Sector 1 are quite tough. First held 1999 on the current layout. Last race for this season in real F1, but we'll be doing a second season on this game, so we've got one more race at this track, which is disappointing for most drivers, but a few do like it. It's 3.4 miles long and 15 turns, so it's quite a tricky pit entrance as well. Judging that during the race is going to be quite tough. Usually rains a lot around here. Hopefully we get a dry race. Had quite a lot of wet races recently. So John, taking from Monday's practice, what do you expect to happen in qualifying?
I think that the people near the top, it's going to be separated by at least 2 or 3 tenths at the most, I reckon. I think the midfield pack is going to be interesting as well, because I think the top 5 drivers are going to be away with it, but I think the next lot between 6th and 11th, that's going to be key, because a lot of drivers could get some decent points tonight as well.
So, lap times, I reckon I'm going to guesstimate and go for a quali lap time maybe of a 1:31.8. I'm going to go for. What do you reckon about what's going to be the fastest time in quali?
It's going to be low 1:32s, or it's going to get the higher 1:31s at the most.
Okay, that's, quite interesting. So we're both kind of on the same page with that.
Yeah.
It's coming to the tail end of the season. I know you've only recently joined us as a commentator, but we enjoy having you as a commentator. Will you be staying with us for the rest of the season and next season as well as a commentator for us?
Yeah, I'll be staying for this season and next season. I enjoy commentating. It's good to see quick drivers as well and get to see a good bit of action from them.
Yeah, exactly that. It's a pleasure having you as a commentator after Peter had to retire for comms due to him re-racing with the league. So it's decent to have one class sign in for another one. So it should be a decent race.
Well, let's hope so. It's this track. There's a lot of overtakes you can do, especially down the back straight and the pit entry as well, like the pit start of the race as well. So I think all these drivers are ready for now to get on the track and do what they can do.
Yeah, we are 2 minutes from going. Techno Thriller joining quite late. Championship leader. He had a tough race last race. He did score some points. I think he come 5th, but he's needing to protect that lead. Like I say, he's got about a 30-point lead at the moment, but it's kind of worrying if your form starts dropping off late in the season, then it makes you worry going into the next races. So I think he needs a bit of stability from
I
this
think
race.
from what you're saying, I think from what you're saying as well, he's got a 30-point gap. I think in a way he'll be happy with that 30-point gap as well, because he's not the one. He's not going to be the one that the pressure's going to go to. The ones behind him are going to have to up their game to keep up with him. He could score. He could finish fourth or fifth and still get some good points and keep that gap. You'd rather be the one with a 30-point gap than the one trying to close up on the 30-point gap.
Well, that's it. That's such a good point, because I suppose the lead is probably more easier to keep than chasing, and you got the guys that are chasing him are going to be under so much pressure as well, because they realise the season's coming to the end. They've not got many races. They've got to maximise. I was discussing this earlier with Fletcher Boy himself. He's had quite an unlucky season because he's super quick and he's getting quicker as the season carries on. But he's had so many random DNFs, some by other drivers lagging, and sometimes just a few driver errors on his behalf. But I think if he can show this form, what he's done in the last few races going into next season, he will challenge for the title, which is quite interesting, I think.
Yeah, I think it will be interesting. Like saying there, he's had some DNFs for like different reasons, but I think he'll use this season as momentum to go in for the start of next season. Hopefully he might try and dominate it from Australia onwards and do like what Techno Thriller's doing, get himself a nice lead on the Drivers' Championship and just keep extending it as much as he can.
Alright, we're going to go select spectating and we're going to get going. We are waiting for another driver, BDS Jade Rios, but we cannot hold the guys up any longer. So we're going to see if she can join for quali. If not, hopefully for the race. We've got a couple of new drivers. So we've got Noak. He was a reserve, got a full drive with Force India. There's been a few driver switch arounds just due to some internal issues. But we won't go into them because it will spoil it. So we've got Ramavaj is in Red Bull with Lord JB 13. So an interesting pair in there. Lord JB got really good strong pace in the race. Ramavaj quite strong everywhere.
I think just saying with that with Noak as well, it's his first proper race day, but if people were there on practice on Monday, he is a quick driver to keep an eye on for this race.
Yeah, that's it. We were also discussing about transferring of TT times, like time trial times, into race, and a lot of drivers can't do it, but Noak seems to have maybe a little bit more knowledge about it, because he's actually transferring his time trial times and his setup to work in the race, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, but and also, well, it'll get all the other drivers to try and match him as much as possible, and it ups other people's game as well. Some people like that, some people don't. Just so sweet, Jade has just joined.
So here we go. Oh, look at the weather. That is going to be a tough qualifying for the guys, and it's terrible. I feel sorry for him.
Jade has just joined, by the way.
She will be probably missing out on qualifying, but I can't keep it. I can't delay the event. You know, there's plenty of time. Everyone knows the invite time and the session start time. So it's going to be quite an interesting little session.
They're going to be using inters at the minute, so it's not. The track is not really wet, which is they could still get some decent times around here, but it's not going to be what we said: 130, low 130, high 131s to low 132s. Ain't going to be that today.
So we're on board with CBO Land, McLaren Honda driver. It's going out on the inters, first to brave the track. So, what do you reckon? A couple of laps to get the tyres up to temp before a decent lap time?
If it was me, I would stay in the pits for a little bit longer. I'd let all the other drivers go out first, get a racing line on this track, and then you can just follow it. Or if you check the weather and it could dry up, in the next 5 minutes, I'd wait until it dries up.
But that's it. The clouds do look like there's a hint of sunshine that might break through, but it could be just the game tricking us. So we're going to keep a quite close eye on CBO Land. He's got some pace, but I just don't think this circuit will be beneficial to him. It's a quite a tough circuit, especially the fast right-hander that you actually have to brake midway through, leading up to the back straight. It's quite a tricky task getting that right. It's kind of like the downhill turn into Bahrain, where you're going downhill into turn 9, I think. So we've got a lot of drivers out of CBO Land running wide there, so track quite slippery in places.
I'm just watching the league leader at the minute, Techno Thriller. But like you said, there is a lot of drivers. There's only 3 people that are staying in the pits at the minute.
Already got a yellow in sector 3, so the conditions are getting extremely tough. CBO Land is trying to get a bit of temperature in, but I don't think it's wise to weave so much on a track that's this slippery, because it could just cost him his qualifying. It's quite laggy as well, which is unfortunate, because it puts doubt in drivers' minds. So we're not going to watch him. We'll go on board with Lord JB. So it looks like he's going to start his first time lap, everyone on the inters, as John said before. So Lord JB moving from Force India into the Red Bull. The points he earned for the constructors will stay with Force India, but he takes the personal championship points over with him. He's got Ramavaj as a teammate, quite a strong pair in there, so it should be a good new leaf for Lord JB. Seems to be struggling, going quite slow around some of the corners. I think he's got a lot more pace to show there. So, who's your pick for pole position then, John?
Thing is, it could be anyone, because sometimes you see some of the quick drivers in the dry sometimes cannot be good on the wet, so it could be anyone. I can't really pick.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point, because the way I expect most drivers only do practice with the dry tyres and dry weather. So when it's rainy, a lot of people are kind of a little bit up in the air in regards to setup, which is tricky for them, but also quite good viewing for us. Currently still on board with Lord JB. He's in sector 3 at the moment, going extremely slow. He's got Sauber in front, Sauber getting well out of the way, which we like to see. Quite a lot of cars close together, so they're going to have to sort that out. I don't know why cars do that. It's qualifying, you don't need to be bunched up like that. You're going to get turbulent air, you're not going to get the right momentum carrying to set your fastest lap. So Lord JB, no DRS, it's too wet for it to be happening. So when the track dries up a little bit and DRS opens, that would be probably the point where you might consider the slick tyres, as Fletcher Boyd does a 146.949 going provisional pole at the moment. Blood and Sand is a further 3 seconds back. Lord JB goes into second. Let's see if we can go on board with Ramavaj.
Noak's just set the pole 145.4.
So yeah, Noak setting a decent lap time there, 1.4 seconds behind is Fletcher Boy. Techno Thriller currently in provisional 3rd place, 4th for Humbug, 5th for Lord JB. Blood and Sand is 6th position. We're on board with him to the last corner, so trying to get as much as much space as he can, so he's straighten up the car as quick as possible to get maximum traction. Let's see what he can do. He can only do a provisional 8th place at the moment. He's 19 seconds off the pace, so I'm assuming that he's doing an extra warm-up lap. Would that suggest that?
I would, yeah, because the first lap that you normally do after your out lap, you can get a decent lap from it, but I'd rather do another lap afterwards, because your tyres are going to be warm enough after that. And I think your first lap is a marker to use, but your second lap is probably your time that you always work to more.
Yeah, I kind of agree. A lot of CBO Land has just been just messaged to say that his wheels actually broke. That is an awful shame for the driver, so he might not be able to carry on. We're going to go on board with Coming to Get You, a driver you know well as well, John.
Yeah.
Would you say he is quite good in the wet, or do you reckon dry racing is his forte?
Well, I'll probably say a bit of both. I think he's good in the wets, and I think he's good in the dries. But I don't normally see him drive in the wets. But I've got a funny feeling he is good in the wet. So it's a basic guess, to be honest. But we'll soon know in quali on if he's good or not.
Well, speaking to the driver himself in the pit lane earlier before the broadcast, he's not put a lot of practice time in. He did a couple of laps on Monday's official practice, so he's going into it a little bit blind, but I'm sure he can get it together because he's a solid driver, and I'm expecting him, if it's a dry race, to probably be a little bit stronger. So he's not going to set the time. Maybe he's going to try waiting for the track to dry a little bit more. We're on board with Decadent, the Renault driver. He showed a bit of pace early on in an unofficial practice session that was being held. He was second in that in qualifying, so he has got the pace on him. He's had quite a few disappointing races, in my opinion, and
just
probably
as we speak, Chopper's just gone up to 5th with a 1:47.3.
There you go, Chopper doing a great time actually, 1.9 seconds behind. He's in the Mercedes AMG, so he's probably got a bit more pace in him. Lee now in 6th position. We'll go for the provisional grid at the moment. So
I wonder how many of these drivers before the race started were hoping it weren't going to rain.
Probably 99% of the grid. I
Possibly,
know
yeah.
At least I spoke to 10 drivers before and they hated the thought of rain. So provisionally at the moment we've got Nowak, he's 1:45.480. Fletcher Boy is currently provisional 2nd with Ramavaj 3rd, 4th Techno Thriller, 5th Chopper, 6th Lee Nell, 7th is Uzi, 8th is Gamey Things, 9th is Humbug, Blood and Sand is 10th, Lord JB is 12th now, is Smelly Bed to 11th, Racing Podge 1st, Land Broken Wheel is 14th, No Time Set, coming to get you No Time Set 15th, and Decadent is about to set a lap time, he's currently 16th, let's see what he moves up to. Decadent goes up to 10th, so top 10 provisionally at the moment. So we were going to go on board with Ramavaj.
And the good thing as well, knowing that it's raining in qualifying, they can start on whatever tyres they want for the race.
So we've got a weather update, dry start to the race, rain in the middle.
That's good.
So it could be a dry end to the race as Ramavaj goes 2nd, 1.1 seconds off Nowak's time. Do you reckon Nowak will probably go to set another lap or save the tyres because you only get limited number of inter tyres?
I think he'll just keep an eye on it for another 40 odd seconds just to see what everyone's doing, and I think he will just go out just to make sure.
I'm expecting Techno Thriller to maybe gain a couple of positions in this qualifying session. He has got that lead to protect, like we've been talking about. Chopper, I expect to probably gain a couple of more attempts, but I've got a funny feeling this could be the grid that we start with. It is, of course, provisional at the moment. We're going to go on board with Fletcher Boy. He's on his outlap, the Williams driver. He's had a tough season.
Come out.
Nowak's coming out, so he's maybe feeling a little bit under pressure from Ramavaj and Fletcher Boy, or maybe he's trying to change his setup, expecting a dry start to the race, because if you've got a dry start to the race you want to try and get as much gap as you can before any wet weather starts. It's also going to be tricky, isn't it, John, because if you know there's going to be rain in the middle of the race, do you start on the harder compound to maybe not make a stop before the inters, or do you go on the softer tyres, get a bigger gap and then go on the inters?
I'd rather start on the quicker tyres and just make a gap as much as possible, because I think if you start on the harder tyres you're risking, if you're right near the top, and like for Chopper, if he starts on the hardest compounds and everyone around him starts on the softest, they could pull a gap away from him straight away, and then if he loses 10 to 15 seconds on him, that's a massive gap to try and pull back.
Yeah, exactly that. So Nowak, Fletcher Boy, Ramavaj all out on track, the provisional top 3 at the moment. There's 1 minute left of the session. It's a long lap and even longer in the rain, so it's going to be quite interesting to see who's come out of the pits that late that can actually get in, get set a quali lap time. So Fletcher Boy is coming round on the last corner of his outlap. He's going to try and get it lined up straight away. get as much traction as possible, and he's away, and he's going to set his, well, he's going to start his last lap of qualifying, try and move him up the order a little bit. Going to go on board with Noah. He's actually crossing the line to start his lap as well. So everyone on the Inter's correct tyre choice, I guess. It doesn't look too wet. Looks like it's starting to dry out a little bit, the track, which is positive for the drivers, because the Inters are quite temperamental. They just need that right amount of water on track, not too much, or you'll be sliding and understeering.
Ramovaj is 3/10 quicker through sector 2.
So we'll go on board with Ramovaj. Great spot there by John. He's in the Red Bull. His return drive. He's got something to prove. This is all about it. The session has ended. So quite a few drivers are there to try and get themselves higher up the order. Techno Thriller's finished in provisional 4th at the moment. He will be quite happy with that, I expect, with the current conditions and the drivers in front of him. So Ramovaj, looks like there's a car stopped in sector 3 just before the last corner. As Ramovaj is going round it to try and set his lap time. He sets a lap time of a 1 minute 46.241. That is only good enough for second. Fletcher Boy.
If you're Noak now, quickly, knowing that second place, 4th place, would you rather just go back in the pits now, or would you just set the lap time and just see?
Knowing Noak, he will probably try and go for a little bit of glory, get a faster lap. Fletcher Boy is having a tough time there in sector 3. I think he's going to call that lap. I don't think he's going to finish that lap off. He's struggling for grip, it looks like, which is unfortunate for him, but it looks like Noak's done quite enough actually to get the pole. Yep, Fletcher Boy then goes into the pits. We'll go on board Lord JB, the Red Bull driver. His teammate is provisionally second. I don't think that's going to be beaten. So he's 9th at the moment. He's going to see if he can get himself a little bit further up the order. He does say he's a bit of a wet weather specialist.
Noak didn't beat his time.
So it looks like the conditions are not improving enough for drivers to set the time, as Lord JB has a little bit of a slide there coming out the corner. So he's finished his lap as well. I think he will be going into the pit as it's super slow down the straight. So we will class it as Noak with his pole position. Again, I think it's the second pole position in 2 weeks, so that's good. So we will go with a grid. Will be Noak in first, second on the grid will be Ramovaj, third Fletcher Boy, Techno Thriller, fourth Lee Now, fifth Chopper, 6th, 7th is Come to Get Ya, 8th is Decadent, 9th Lord JB, 10th Gamey Things, 11th is Uzi, 12th Humbug, 13 Racing Podge, 14 Blood and Sand, 15 Smelly Badger, and CBO Land having technical issues with his steering wheel. What he uses, as some guys know, you can use pad or wheel, and he's using a wheel and it is unfortunately broken, which will put him in doubt for the race, I think, which is quite a shame.
Just looking at the best lap time so far, and Noak's best time to Ramovaj's best time is pretty good from Noak.
So, having a look at the weather chart that I've been sent by a couple of drivers, there's literally going to be a touch of rain middle of the race. It's not going to be heavy rain, it's probably going to be around for a few laps. So it's going to be tough. If it rains around here lightly for a few laps during the race, would you risk the inters, or would you stay on and struggle through with the dry tyres?
I think best thing to do is just go straight onto the inters, because you don't want to be on those dry tyres and then you're losing so much time. I think as soon as you see the track like getting wet, you just go in and put them inters on. Yeah,
I totally agree. So while we're waiting for the session to load, if you go to www.facebook.com/Speed Force Racing PS4, we've got a Project Cars season on Project Cars 2 that we're looking to get started. Drop us a message on the page if you fancy a bit of Project Cars. Also, we've got season 2 starting of our F1 season. That'll be starting beginning of April. So we've got spaces still available. We're going to be running a non-assist division and an assist division. So you get the best of both worlds, really. You get to choose what league you're going to be strong in, and you're going to get a lot more challenging races, I expect. We're also doing a little gift to the Drivers' Champion and Constructors for the seasons to follow and this season is that they will be getting a trophy delivered to their house. It's not going to be the biggest trophy in the world, but it's something to keep them going, a little bit more incentive. As you know, a little bit of cheap tat goes a long way.
Just quickly saying, before this race starts, to be the leader of this race, I think it's one of the hardest things to do, because you've got quite a bit of distance till you get to turn 1, so you're going to have all them cars right behind you straight on turn 1 going into turn 2. So
yeah, exactly that.
I
That's
think
such
you'd
a good
rather
point.
be second or third so you can get a bit of that slipstream off the leader, which is what you want.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point there, John. With the
It reminds me a lot like Mexico, because Mexico obviously you got a long way down to turn 1, and you don't want to be the leader because you're not getting no slipstream of the car behind you. You're sort of, what do you say? You're just sort of doomed, and hopefully if you can get the inside line in turn 1, and then hopefully you get something from there from it.
Yeah, a lot of drivers, since it was a wet quali, get free choice of their starting tyre. So top 5 are going on the soft tyres, medium compound available for this race. Chopper is super softs, and then coming to get you on the soft tyres. Decadent, Lord JB, Gamey Things on the super softs. Uzi, the only driver going on the medium tyres, which is the hardest available compound.
He's definitely waiting for that rain to turn up. That's what he's doing. He's just going to wait and go out as long as possible.
Exactly, yeah, I think so. Humbug then on the soft tyres. Humbug actually having a disappointing qualifying. He's second in the Drivers' Championship, so he'll be quite, I'd say, disappointed with being 12th. He's getting no benefit because every driver was starting on fresh tyres, because if it was dry quali, he might have had a benefit with a free tyre choice, but everyone's got that. Racing Podge, my teammate for next season, is 13th, 14th Blood and Sand, 15th Smelly Badger. CBO Land had to retire due to technical issues. So 15 on the grid, a lot of drivers missing this week due to different personal reasons. But should be a decent event anyway, as they come into the end of their formation lap. Ramovaj is going to have a good run down.
Top 5 drivers are the ones that you'd expect to be right up there, so you could see a gap open up in the first 5 or 6 laps and just see them having a battle with each other, which is what we want to see.
Yeah, I think actually top 7 are probably going to be quite close. They're improving week by week, so should be hopefully a clean start. So just wait for the grid to reform and the drives to select ready. So we've got 1 light, 2 lights, 3 red lights, 4 red lights, 5 red lights as drivers awake, and lights out. Here we go. So Noak getting a decent start. A few drivers bogging down. Ramovaj trying to get a bit of the slipstream that John was talking about. Got the Williams drivers
just trying to make sure he's got the inside line going into turn 1.
Ramovaj going in front of the Williams driver. So Ramovaj is having a little look on the outside. You've got the cars going through there as Lee Now is losing a couple of positions, as is Lord JB and Chopper. Uzi's made quite a few positions up on the medium tyres. He's looking forward to probably stretching a lead once the rain starts to fall, because drivers probably on the super softs will be pitting way before the rain starts to fall. It's a quite high degradation track, so it's going to be quite challenging to get the call right. So Nook is 5/10 of a second in front of Ramovaj. Ramovaj, an extremely fast driver himself. The Williams, Fletcher Boy's
just
third.
As we're saying quickly, Chopper's losing quite a few positions.
Oh, Lord JB's crashed out. Sorry, John. Lord JB has crashed out of the race. Not the best starts that he's going to want. So sector 2 is in yellow. Blood and Sand has retired as well. He's had an incident as well. Maybe Lord JB and him had an incident. We will find out after the race. So currently his first is Noak. Ramovaj is second. Fletcher Boy third. Techno Thriller fourth. Lee Now fifth. Coming to get you is sixth. Racing Podge seventh. Decadent is eighth. Gaming Things is ninth. Uzi is 10th. Chopper 11th. 12th is Smelly Badger, and 13 is Humbug. Humbug not having the best of the starts to his race. He should be higher up than that, and I think he knows that. So we're going to go on board with the broadcast camera on
and Chopper's
Ramovaj.
lost quite a lot of positions as well. He's down in 11th place, and I'm sure he started in 6th, I think it was.
Yeah, he's not had the best of laps as well, so it's quite interesting. There's a couple of cars going in the pits. John, if you could just let me know what's happening there. It looks like it's Chopper.
It's Chopper in the pits.
So 7/10 of a second. Oh, Chopper getting a 5 second stop-go penalty. Speeding in the pit lane, it is a tricky pit lane to try and get your speed down quick enough. So that's going to be not the best situation for him. So Ramovaj 7/10 of a second behind Noah.
Soft tyres as well.
There you go, soft tyres for Chopper. So Ramovaj 6/10 of a second, 8/10 of a second now behind Noak. Fletcher Boy 1.9 seconds behind Noak. Techno Thriller is staying in the hunt. Championship leader needs to get a decent, solid point scoring position, especially for the constructors as well, because you've got two Williams drivers that are third and fifth. Decent points for them as Decadent is overtaken Lee now, which is quite an interesting move. Decadent actually returning to previous form. Lee now going a little bit wide there, so we'll see what's happening with Lee now. He's losing positions, which is unusual for him because he's quite a solid racer.
Just noticing something as well is you've got the front four drivers have just saying that Techno Thriller's just run wide by where the end of sector 2 is, and he's just losing quite a few positions there. But what I was saying was the top four drivers were making a gap between the rest. He was about 4 seconds in front of Decadent, so there was a gap starting to increase.
Sorry to interrupt you, John. Techno Thriller has got major issues. He's 10th place now. He's taken back the position. He's back in 9th after Humbug. Humbug's still chasing him down. So Techno Thriller is not having the best of races as Noak gets a 1:35.5 for the fastest lap of the race at the moment in the Force India. So Techno Thriller having a few issues there. He's not wanting this because he is so close to losing a huge chunk of championship points. Going on board with Uzi, he's currently 7th, made up some decent positions in McLaren Honda. He's racing hard against Gamey Things in the Ferrari. Looks like a little bit of a loss of traction there for the McLaren Honda. He's trying to make a move on Gamey Things in the Ferrari. He's lining up side by side. I think he's got the move done. He's going on the outside. He's got a little short sprint down to a tight corner coming up. Heavy braking zone in a minute. Looks like the Ferrari's got the inside line. The McLaren trying to keep up with it. They're very close. They're going to have to give each other more space. Look at the fight in there. There's allowed Lee now to go through as well. So Gamey Things there losing a couple of positions. Got quite a few drivers in this little train. 5 cars there. You've got coming to get you, Gamey Things, Techno Thriller, Uzi and Humbug all within close proximity of each other.
Smedley Badger's just gone into the pit as well. I don't know what's happened to him, but he's just gone on. I can't see what tyres he's on at the minute. He's on the super softs.
So early pit as well for Smelly Badger's. Chopper and Smelly Badger having early stops. It's quite a mixed up race. Got Noak probably expected to be currently first, second Ramovaj, Fletcher Boy, Decadent improving. He's had an awful little run of late. When he done his first race for the league, he won it, got pole as well, I think. So he's getting back into form, which is important for him. Going, you need as much form as you can go. Looking forward to season 2. Going to go on board Uzi. He's lost a couple of positions on the medium tyres. He's lost another position as Humbug in the Toro Rosso gets past him. Uzi on the medium tyres trying to preempt the call for the rain. Techno Thriller
still a good battle there between 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th
yeah,
and 10th.
Techno Thriller has got his DRS wide open. He's trying to make a move on Gamey Things going on the outside. Techno's got the inside there. He's got to try and make moves. He's past Gamey Things, but Gamey Things is still trying to keep that lead there. Gamey Things letting the position go there. I think he went a little bit too wide, allowing Techno Thriller to get past him. Techno's got a lot of work to do now to try and ease the point that he's going to lose against his rivals in the Drivers' Championship. Haas driver coming under a little bit of pressure there from drivers that you'd usually not be racing. Uzi is 4/10 of a second behind Humbug as well. Humbug should have been higher up the grid, so he probably will be a little bit disappointed there. Noak has got a 2-second gap over Ramovaj. Noak is showing extremely high pace there.
Yeah, all the top 3 they're all keeping out of DRS range as well. Ramovaj just can't get anywhere near Noak on DRS, and neither can Fletcher Boy on Ramovaj.
Do you reckon maybe it's a bit too early in the race for this, but do you reckon some drivers are just easing off, not getting too close to the cars in front because of the turbulent air? Turbulent air causes more tyre wear?
Possibly, yeah. And they might also, especially with the front 3 as well, they're on softs. They're not going to want to push their tyres too much, knowing that there's going to be rain halfway through this race. Well, we think there's going to be rain.
Yeah,
so
it looks like there could be.
Trying to keep their tyres as much as possible
Well, that's it. It looks like it could be a drop of rain. We've got, sorry to interrupt, we're on board with Gamey Things. He's going to have DRS. He's got his DRS wide open now. He is 4 tenths of a second behind Techno Thriller. Techno Thriller seems to be struggling. Is Gamey Things going to try and have a little look? He's having a little look. Techno Thriller looking in his mirrors to try and keep him behind. Oh, he's following him closely, the Ferrari driver. The Ferrari driver trying to go on the outside now as Techno Thriller is covering the inside. Oh, that's close. Gamey Things going down the inside. Looks like there's a little touch as the Ferrari driver sticks his hand up. Techno Thriller still keeping that position though.
And just saying what you just said about there, Techno Thriller and Gamey Things. Techno Thriller didn't have no DRS whatsoever, so he's got some good speed down that straight if Gamey Things could not get past him with DRS as well.
Yeah, it's a tricky circuit to get the right mix of aero. Would you go for the straights or would you concentrate on the corners? But Gamey Things is still behind Techno Thriller. Techno Thriller probably didn't expect to have such a tough challenger in Gamey Things. Gamey Things is extremely hard to pass because he's such a brilliant defensive driver, but he's never usually the one to attack. So this is quite interesting viewing for us and the viewers that are watching with us on YouTube. We're going to go on board with Coming to Get You. He's on the back of the Williams driver Lee Nell. Looks like Lee Nell might be struggling a little bit. Lee Nell and Coming to Get You both on the soft tyres. Haas driver is the leader of his teams. Of course, his teammate is Techno Thriller. Techno Thriller is trying to gain up on there. Lee Nell going a little bit defensive there early on. DRS is available to Come to Get You. He switches it on late. He's going into the final corner. A little bit of a lock up there from Lee Nell. The Haas driver going a little bit wider than the turning of the Williams driver. It's going to have DRS going down the start-finish straight as they start lap 6. Will Coming to Get You have a little look on Lee Nell?
Gamey Things has got DRS on again on the back of Techno Thriller, but he just can't get near him.
So there you go, Techno Thriller and Gamey Things having a little interesting battle, but Gamey Things cannot get close enough. Coming to Get You is still behind Lee Nell, so DRS not helping. Do you think DRS is effective around this track or not?
It can be what you were saying just there if you have a setup made for the straights, because then you can get some good speed out of the back straights where the DRS is. But I think the problem with having low aeros as well is from sector 1 and 2 you're going to lose so much time, but you're obviously going to get it on sector 3 with the speed that you're going to get. So
yeah, that's true.
It's sort of one of them you'll be within the DRS range and suddenly you'll...
Sorry to interrupt you, John. We've got Techno Thriller is getting held up now by his teammate Coming to Get You. No team orders, it looks like. So Coming to Get You is actually getting held up, I suppose, by trying to get past Lee now, which is then bringing his teammate into action. Techno Thriller trying to recover his drive now, because he needs to get a top 5 position, I think, to keep a healthy lead in the Drivers' Championship, considering Humbug is in 9th, his closest competitor. They're going down the back straight before the final corner, both DRS wide open for Coming to Get You and Techno Thriller. Lee Nell under extreme pressure there from 2 cars, but it looks like Techno is getting severely held up by Coming to Get You. He goes out to the side.
Doing really well holding these 2 behind him.
He's going defensive quite early down the straight. That is going to be quite hard pickings there, because he's going to have 2 Haas drivers quite eager to get past. There's a little lock up there from Lee Nell going into turn 1.
Got the inside line.
There you go, Lee Nell doing quite good defensive driving. Looks like Techno may have gotten a little bit wide there, allowing Coming to Get You to have a little bit of breathing space, but Techno Thriller will be straight on the back of his teammate, because that's what the sort of driver he is, full of experience.
Just as we speak as well, I don't know if Noak is on the charge now, but he's 4.3 seconds in front of Ramraj. I don't know if Ramraj has just eased off a little bit, because Fletcher boy is starting to get a little bit closer to him.
There you go, Techno Thriller pushing a little bit too hard, getting a 3 seconds penalty. Coming to Get You finally gets past Lee Nell. Is he going to keep the position? Oh, Lee Nell looks like he's made a mistake there. He's allowed both Haas drivers through. So Techno Thriller got the easiest move there. Coming to Get You had to work hard to get past. Now Techno Thriller is lining up his teammate.
What,
going into the slow few corners.
You don't want to be the Haas pit wall, because you're going to be covering your eyes hoping that this don't end bad.
Yeah, exactly that. So the Haas drivers are very close together now. They're going into the tight corner, which is accelerating into, and then hard braking, which kind of understeers you, going on to the start-finish straight. So Coming to Get You will be under pressure from his teammate. His teammate's going to have DRS wide open. It is wide open. He's going to try and go for the inside line, looks like, by Techno. Coming to Get You. Very, very composed driving there. Not getting too worried, not going defensive early. They're going down the start-finish straight now. That's it, exactly. John. He's got DRS wide open. All coming to get you goes very wide. Is he allowing his teammate through? It doesn't look like it. No, he keeps him behind, so coming to get you, still keeping his teammate behind. I bet you his teammate is getting severely frustrated by that. He's got a championship to kind of control in the points, but it's going to be very hard for him to do so. Currently in 6th position, so Nowak is currently 1st, Ramovaj 2nd, Fletcher Boy 3rd,
Just
Declan
as we
4th.
speak quickly, Yuzi's all over the back of Humbug at the minute, and Yuzi's on the harder compound. He's on the mediums, while Humbug's on the softs. You think Humbug would be pulling away from Yuzi, because I don't think their medium tyres will be ready yet. Normally, within the next couple of laps, you think the mediums would be ready to just keep using. But then I think also as well, them softs will start wearing out in the next couple of laps as well, so that will work in Yuzi's favour.
Exactly that, yeah. So Techno Thriller still trying to get past, coming to get you. Definitely no team orders involved here. These are the slow little corners now. Still tricky to try and get past. He's going to get start suffering from turbulent air, is Techno Thriller, which will, like we've said previously, increase tyre wear. He looks like he's getting a frustrated driver there. He's cutting a frustrated figure. He's going to have DRS wide open again. DRS is available. He's got it open. He's going to try and chase his teammate, coming to get you down the back straight. Looks like coming to get his chosen his defensive line. He's going to try and hug the outside, try and get as much track as possible to get a good drive coming out of the exit of the final corner. So coming to get you, still going to be under pressure all the way through. Looks like Techno might have actually done this. Coming to get you, going right to the left-hand side of the track, his favoured position when he's under pressure.
No, he's still behind him.
Oh, he's going to try for a tight inside line. Is Techno Thriller? He's trying it, but coming to get you is actually driving really well defensively. Brilliant. 6 seconds is the gap between first and second. That is a huge gap there. So as Ramovaj or Fletcher Boy got an interesting I'd say strategy after their pit stops. It looks like it's going to be a two-stop.
Racing Pod 5 second stop go, speeding in the pit lane.
There you go. Like I said before, speeding in the pit lane, it's very hard to get your speeds down. But it looks like it's going to be a two-stop strategy. That's if it stays dry. We are expecting a little rain. We're on lap 9 at the moment. Rain should be coming any time soon, maybe in the next couple of laps, which would be interesting for the drivers pitting at the moment. So Techno Thriller 3/10 of a second behind, coming to get you.
Do you want it to rain or not?
I would like it to rain for about 1 or 2 laps. It would mix the order up quite a lot. So gamey things going onto the medium tyres as Uzi gets past Humbug. Humbug getting past Uzi. We're going on board with him. Toro Rosso driver's got the McLaren Honda driver all over the back of him. He's keeping quite a tight line. He's getting good traction from the slow corners, which is very important. But he will be getting a driver with DRS wide open in about
I'm just watching coming to
5
get you
seconds.
Techno Thriller again. Techno Thriller's got DRS on him again. He's getting closer all the time, but he just can't get that overtake. But now they're going down the pit straight. Can he? I think he's got a good exit coming out of that corner, and it gives me a stupid camera angle again.
So on board with Uzi on the medium tyres, he's chasing down Humbug. Humbug in 8th position on the soft tyres, Uzi on the more durable tyres, and it looks like the medium tyres are actually starting to work a little better for the driver. He's going to try and make a move. Going into the tight turn 1 there, it looked like there was an early contact between Toro Rosso and McLaren Honda. The McLaren Honda trying to follow very closely behind Humbug. Humbug should be a little higher than he is, so he might be cutting a bit of a... maybe a little bit gobsmacked to why he's not higher up the order. It was quite a wet session. He's taking the inside. Uzi's taking the inside line. Sorry, John. Uzi's taking the inside line. He's got past Humbug. Humbug's not letting it go either. He's trying to chase down the McLaren Honda driver, going through the sweeping little corners now. McLaren Honda driver, I think, has got this all sewn up, but Humbug will not let him go. Oh, there's an error. Sorry, guys, for the break in the stream. There is a error with the PSN session. We will
coming to get you at the minute. I'm just trying to find that Uzi battle. Uzi and Humbug are still side by side. Oh, bit of contact there for Uzi's hit Humbug, and I think is he?
Okay, yeah, we're having technical issues. Sorry, guys. It looks like PSN has been struggling for about a week and a half. And it is not allowing me back into the session. Unbelievable. Sorry guys, we're gonna end the stream early. Sorry about this technical issues. PSN has been absolute nightmare this week. Sorry about this. There will be no more footage as I can't get back into the session. Sorry, John, about this. We're going to end the session quite early, unfortunately. So, from Nightwalker and John94 Runners, we severely apologise for this this disaster. But unfortunately, PSN has been having a few issues. So we're end the stream now. We've got a Classics race tomorrow. Stay tuned to www.facebook.com/SpeedForce Racing for the rest of the Classics series, which is coming down to the last couple of races. Thank you for joining us. Good night.